All right, guys, we are back with Chat with Charlie, and I got my co-host, my new and forever co-host, Robert Keiser.
What's up, guys? Nice to be with you.
We don't have the clap reel, but we need a clap reel, and all the things go off and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so. It's our first show in the new studio, so we're going to figure it out for you guys.
We'll get there, but here's the deal. We're back. We're going to do a lot of things. It just won't be education vertical. We're going to bring guests on. We're going to have some fun. Just Robert and I, and we both work for Keiser University, so we'll get that out there. But, for us, we want you to get to know us, and we want to understand a lot of different things. And a lot of good editing will help with this, especially when we say things we don't want to. But we're going to hit 2 shows a month. We'll record twice a month, so you should see it drop. We're going to be on Apple, going to be on LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. And I got my good friends out there. Ryan Sullivan is going to help us out, and Jack Gallagher is going to help us out with a lot of things to promote this show. And we're looking forward to getting into it. This isn't going to be your typical show. We're going to try not to be boring. We're going to try to be ourselves, be very opinionated. So a lot of things you may not agree with. We do not represent Keiser when we talk. We just work for them, and we're very happy to work with them, and we're very excited to talk to you guys about everything we're doing. That's great. But at the end of the day, we do not represent them on this show. These are our own opinions, and that's how we'll go.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure my family likes working
dude,
with me,
I was going to say, bro, what happens
to you around?
What happens to you at the dinner table when they go, what are you doing with that little short guy?
It's a good thing I got a shirt on because you see the lashes on my back. But no, they like you. It's me.
Whatever.
I come home and, people are like, oh, what do I call you at work? Like Dr. Keiser, Dr. Keiser Jr., Robert. I'm like, it doesn't matter what you call me because I get much worse at home. So that's
bro, it
how
is
it looks.
Confusing though.
Yeah.
You got the Robert, you got the doctor, you got a lot of different things going on. Yes. But you handle it really well.
Hey, well, look, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all in this together. And, whether you have a credential or not, it doesn't make you any better than anyone else. But I will say I have a little bit gripe with my experience because I say I worked so hard, got the doctorate degree, and they give you this funny little hat called a TAM. For all of you who have a doctorate, you know exactly.
Right?
Yeah, TAM. That's the actual word. But in Finland, I looked this up. Now it's on Instagram, so I don't know if this is accurate, but I believe it is. You get a sword and a top hat.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm like, where the hell is my sword?
Where's our sword?
I know, no kidding.
Now your dad has the big old freaking swinging chalice.
Yeah, he's got the Flavor Flav.
Are you gonna wear that soon?
100%. As soon as I can do it,
I'm
rocking
spin it?
that.
We gotta spin.
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna do it like Paul Wall, like spinning that.
That's what I mean.
That's our new content: music video, me spinning the grill kind of thing. That's for commencement.
I'm digging that.
Yeah.
And before we go too far, we got to show off the shirt.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Wait.
So let's talk about why that's important.
Okay, so sorry, I can't talk about the microphone. So this shirt, let the camera see, is one of our national championship appearances for Keiser University. We have won the national championship in football, which was a huge pipe dream for me and my father. We used to get around the dinner table and joke about having sports teams, and we've been tremendously successful, and it's an absolute blessing. But this was us playing Grandview. We are 4-time in a row appearance to the national championship. We did win it once, but next year, Coach Russ is going to deliver it. And
shout out to Coach Russ. Hope he's listening to this.
Yeah,
but
the man, the myth, the legend.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, just from my perspective, watching from afar, and the athletics we have, the amount of rings we have, just everything about it is just, you got to pinch yourself. It's the coolest thing.
100%. I am the biggest, most avid sports fan, and it's completely unrequited love because I'm a Dolphins fan and a Marlins fan. So there's nothing worse than that. Yeah. So I love them. They don't love me back. Right. But with that being said, being such a big sports fan, and when I was in high school, humble brag, but I was the captain of my football team. Football is the pinnacle.
Well, you know why I know that though?
What's that?
Because your dad's office is a shrine.
I know.
It's a Robert Keiser shrine.
It's embarrassing. Here, this is a fun fact for the audience because, we're trying to get to let you know each other. So working with a family business, there's obviously perks, pros, and cons. One of the cons is that if you have a good relationship with your parents, which I am blessed to have, then their office is, as you would for your kids, like mine is a shrine to my kids. I have a lot of memorabilia of myself, and I don't like seeing myself generally or hearing myself. So this whole podcast experience is like, But then walking into my mom's office, right? So I walk into my mom's office, this was in high school, and I was dating a girl, and I had a picture of me kissing my ex-girlfriend.
Perfect.
In the
Perfect.
Yeah, it was a great conversation on the ride back. It's like, why is she still there? I go, I don't know why mom does that. I don't control what she does.
So we have cabinet meeting with Dr. Arthur Keiser, and we'll talk about him, and we're going to get him on the show actually, and we're going to talk about the last 50 years, 5 decades of service to Florida, and now we're global. But when we go into our meeting, it's cabinet meeting with Dr. Keiser. I always look at one picture.
Oh man, that's tough. That's the one.
The
picture you
one
look at.
picture.
So what he's referencing is right behind the desk, which we meet, is like a wood frame, so you know it's old school, picture of me with my photo for football and me just cheesing into the photo. It's
You're
rough.
bean mugging in it. Like you're like ready to go.
I think aren't I
You
cheesing?
got it. It's a little Cheshire grin kind of.
That's
yeah.
even worse.
Trust me, I've
I didn't
studied
even know
that.
if I wanted to,
I've studied that.
Because I'm not like a serious person. So I probably wanted to be serious. Like a mean mug for football would be appropriate. Couldn't even do that right.
It was there though. So we got that.
Yeah.
We are going to do a upcoming show with Mitch Tallenfeld, and we're going to be talking about
Love that
artificial
guy.
intelligence, LLMs. We're going to talk about how its effect on at least our vertical and all verticals and how to use it. I'm excited about that talk.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Yeah, and Mitch, I gotta give credit. I'm now, at the school they joke like I'm half humanoid, half human at this.
You're
point.
kind of good. You're really good at this though. I will say,
I don't know if I'm
and not
good
just
at this.
buttering you up. Like the things that you're producing over the last 3 months now.
Yeah,
I mean, you've been pretty
it's
digging
just
in.
like a 4-month journey.
Yeah.
But Mitch was in this way before I
Too
was.
much.
Oh,
he was driving me
100%.
crazy. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't have an hour to talk about this right now.
Yeah, and look, I'm a talker. You're a talker. Mitch is a talker. So like, I introduce myself. It's an hour. So like, any AI conversation with Mitch is like 15.
Yeah. How
hours.
is that going to go?
Well, we're gonna have to cut and edit a lot of this podcast. Number one, but number two, like he was in this saying like, hey, beware of the singularity, all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Ray Kurzweil, and really planting the seed of how AI is going to transform every vertical, not just education. 3 years ago. So give credit to where credit's due.
He was there.
Mitch
He
on it.
was bleeding edge, or however you want to say
Absolutely,
it. I mean, we've done different things in our social. We've done different things in our SEO.
That's right.
We've been very critical on our business for how we're going to look in the future. So that's going to be a good show, and that's at the end of the month. I think we're going to be talking to him.
Okay.
I think it's at the end of the month. Be walking on that, and then we've got some other people that have already asked to be on the show. I'm not going to go through all their names right now, but we do have some good people on the show. But before, this is like a get to know you type thing. And I wanted to get to know Robert a little bit more on this show and talk to him a little bit about, so went to GW, went to George Washington, right? Did undergrad and graduate school there, right?
I did. Yeah, I did my master's there as well.
So from a young age, I think everybody wants to know this, especially from a successful family that you have. Were you like 10 and you're like, I want to do that? Or talk to me. Like,
Yeah,
how
no,
did that
like
go?
exactly the opposite was probably the reality.
So that's a good setup.
It was a perfect setup. It was a perfect setup. And, I didn't know what you were going to ask me.
Yeah.
So this is the true story. And this was my maturation and me getting into the idea of working with the family. Because again, I mentioned there are pros and cons to nepotism. And no one's going to feel bad for me. And I don't expect the audience to feel bad for me. But there are cons, believe it or not. So when I was growing up, when I was younger, most people didn't know Keiser University. It was still a smaller brand. So it wasn't like it is now where I go to give my credit card and they're like, oh, Keiser, like the university. It was more like Keiser, like Kaiser roll. I'm like, yeah, like the bread, or like Kaiser Permanente. So like I didn't have that name association.
Keiser Permanente.
Exactly.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go for
when
it.
I was in Sarasota, so I was a director of admissions. This was 9 years ago. Shout out to Dr. Michelle Morgan out there. But when I was in there was a water pipe.
Okay.
And on the tag, it said Keiser something. Keiser University, and they just spelled the name wrong.
Yeah.
And it was pharmaceutical. And I was always like, wait a minute, what is this? Did I spell the name wrong?
Oh,
So I
it's
always
from
get freaked out.
Permanente.
And it was from the Permanente type thing. So it's just kind of funny story.
Okay, well, and that's-
I think it was funny. You guys may not think. I thought it was.
I'm sure they would love that. But the name is from the Kaiser Chancellor, German connotation, which I'm actually not German. We can get into that story later. But ultimately, I was pretty reluctant to work with the family.
Really?
I always was keeping my options open, worked at the school every summer, pretty much until sophomore year of high school, and then did other things. But what ended up really intimidating me about the experience was we had a lobbyist back in the day, a gentleman named Jonathan Slade. He would come down from Washington, D.C. in a full suit, and I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old, right? and I would go and visit my mom and dad at the school. And he would come up to me, always had a joke. It was the same joke every single time. And it's really cute, actually, in fairness to Jonathan, and shout out to Jonathan. But I was really intimidated by this joke. And he said, what are you going to do when you're my boss? What is the first thing you're going to do?
And you're 9.
And I was like 9, yeah. So I'm like looking at this guy from Washington, D.C., nation's capital, full suit, saying I'm going to be his boss one day. And the answer was, I'm going to double lobbying fees. So like, it's a cute joke. I'm going to give him a raise and I'm going to double the amount of money I'm going to give him as his boss the moment I take, the helm, right? So that was really intimidating because again, I'm like 9 years old. I'm meeting this gentleman, for the first couple times. He's completely adorned in a suit. And I said, man, like, what does that mean that I'm going to be all these people's bosses? And, what is the responsibility of that? And my family was really good about ensuring that I understood the magnitude of that responsibility. Ensuring that there was a servant leadership aspect to my development. My father told me, I don't care what you are. I just want you to be the best at it.
So you didn't have heavy expectations on you from the start.
No, it was the opposite.
That's good.
Actually, my mother was probably supportive of me not working at the university. My father and my grandmother probably was 50-50. She always would say, if you work here, it's important to uphold the family name.
Yeah.
For my father, I think he was more supportive. We didn't really talk much about it, but he wanted me to build from the ground up. And, so my first job, I was a gum scraper. My father gave me a paint scraper and I went underneath desks like this and would scrape the
And you're
gum.
not joking.
No, 100% serious.
Yeah.
I actually love that job. When you're 7 years old and that's your first job, it is so fun to do that because you don't care about like how yucky it is or anything like that.
Like for our listener, did you know, like at what age did you start to figure out, okay, hey, I've got something really successful here that I can't take for granted? Did that happen at some point? Or did it just like boiling a frog? It just slowly evolved?
It's an evolution, but I knew the magnitude of the school probably in high school. And so I was like, look, I have to take this seriously, if nothing else, for a contingency plan for myself.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I graduated, and there's a couple stories related to where I changed my entire perception of what it was like to work for the university. And it was two different things. One, when I graduated from GW, they do an incredible commencement ceremony. They do it on the National Mall, only school in the country to do that.
It's got to be beautiful.
It's amazing. It's just super hot, and I'll get into that in a second. But when you get your diploma, it is signed by the U.S. Congress. Only school in the country that is.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's pretty special.
Super fun fact. Super special. Our guest speakers, our commencement speakers, was Carlos Slim, who is a Mexican telemogul. Brian Williams, who was the anchor for MSNBC. Yeah. So we had two of them both, and they're both notable people. So it's a big deal. But it was so hot because we're outside on the mall in DC, which is a swamp. So I'm just sweating my ass off.
Humid,
so humid, like Florida. And I'm hungover as hell, like so hungover. And I was in a fraternity, so like this is what I majored in, right?
Shout out, what fraternity?
Phi Kappa Psi.
Phi Kappa Psi, okay.
Yep, to my Phi Psi brothers. But I was so hungover, so I was just bothering everyone.
And when you're hot and sweaty, it makes it even 10 times worse.
Disgusting. Like we are probably not going to say everything on the air that I will tell you, but it was terrible. But anyways, so I'm bothering everyone in my row for a bottle of water because all I need is salvation. I just need to drink something so I can hydrate. And that was my commencement experience about hydrating myself, drinking water, so then I can get to the next bar that night and be ready to go. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, just to keep rallying and partying and keep the party going. But I didn't really appreciate it because it was an expectation in my family to go to college and to graduate. So it wasn't really a big deal for my family. It wasn't really a big deal for me. And then it wasn't really, even when I graduated my master's, my grandmother, who is a co-founder of the institution, Evelyn Keiser, came up to me. She said, Robert, that's great, but when are you going to do your doctorate? And no, then I'm proud of you.
Were you done with your master's yet, or just getting started?
I finished my MBA, walk across the stage, walk to where my grandparents are, like once commencement finishes, or to my grandmother, and that's the first.
And she lays that on you.
So, like, what I realized, then I go to after my MBA. After my undergrad, I go to a Keiser University commencement. I've done this 100 times before. One of the benefits, so back to benefits of nepotism, I get to sit on the stage and I watch the students walk across the stage like I did a month before. And our students are hugging and crying and hugging their faculty, thanking their admissions counselor for believing in them and being the first person to ever believe in them. And thanking the staff, the administration, the faculty. I didn't know any of my faculty members. They didn't
Genuinely thanking him. Hugs.
Genuinely. Yes.
Hugs.
And anyone who works in career education knows this. Like this is something that is truly unique to career education. Traditional universities, they're too big. They don't have that student engagement. They don't have that connection of student to faculty, student to administration. And it's completely an expectation. And what I realized in that moment, that in the United States, there's a dichotomy of college goers.
Yeah.
There's the privileged people like myself, where it's an expectation about going to school. It's not about if, it's about where you're going to school. And then you do the Common App and apply to 30 schools and refresh your browser, right? Like that's the experience for a portion of
got your fallback, you got your main, and you're trying, you're doing the whole thing,
right? And that's the standard for those who had families who have gone to university. Then for our demographic, especially first in family or people without means, and that's a large majority of our students, it's about if they're going to school. And they have their not entire, but a lot of people around them who are naysayers. Yeah. Why would you go to college? There is no ROI.
I didn't need to do it. You don't need to do it.
Exactly. Like your father was this. Why don't you just do that? And you don't need college.
The value's not there.
We're not white collar family, all those kinds of things. So when our students actually accomplish that dream and walk across that stage, it is truly a life-defining moment. It is truly something that changes them and transforms them for the entirety of their life, and they change their family tree. Because
it's generational.
It is, because what ends up happening, they graduate and then they have the expectation that you also will graduate from college, and they
it's like the detour. Then it goes this way now.
Exactly.
And those, what did this call the they wear, they got the cap and gown, but then they got the
stoles. Yeah.
But when they say first generation on them, and you can just see it in their eyes and face that I accomplished something, and it wasn't given to me. I earned this thing.
And you know that, and because you've been in the industry for a long time, and it's the same at Keiser, it's the same as AIM or a lot of institutions. But that was an epiphany for me. Then I realized what my family does is really special and really meaningful and really gives back to people. It's a beautiful thing. The second thing that changed my mind on the university was my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend. And
was she at GW? Where'd you meet her?
No, I met her down here. Our families were family friends for years, and that's how I got introduced. But I was talking to Andrew one night, and she's like, "Man, all you do is complain about all this responsibility and everything you would have to do if you worked at the university." I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess, but you don't know what it's like, right? Like this is a whole different thing for me. She goes, but you're blessed. Let's look at this differently. I'm like, okay. So if you have a great counterpart in life and I'm blessed to have the best, they reframe things in your life when you're going through adversity. And so that's what she did for me. And she said, well, why don't you consider this? What if you didn't work at the university and someone without your last name ran the school into the ground? Would you be okay with that? And I was like, F no.
That stopped you in your tracks.
And she's like, well, what? And I go, F no. If someone's going to run into the ground, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be some random dude off the street who doesn't carry my family legacy. She's like, well, then you got to try it. You got to at least give it a try.
When was that? Were you your girlfriend and
we were? So that was, I think, after my first year of my MBA. When I was going into second year, because then my MBA was me extending adolescence. I knew I was going to probably get a graduate degree, a master's of some level. So I was like, all right, the next step is MBA.
Were you at Southeastern yet? Southeastern's our sister school.
No, I wasn't. Because I would do I would do summer jobs, but not
Gotcha.
full-time.
And then you're starting to learn.
When I worked at Southeastern, I finished my MBA and then I had a full-time gig with Southeastern. Yeah,
got it.
And I started my first full-time gig was admissions counselor.
That's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dana Hutton.
Not yet.
Oh, she wasn't.
She was my trainer.
She claimed, she's a trainer. That's right.
She trained me. So she taught me admissions. And then this is a crazy story. Then I had, my DOA was I'm not going to name the name because the story is I ended up firing my DOA, who was my boss when I was a counselor, and I became his president. So that's tough. Those things are tough.
So he really could have said that to you. What's it going to be like when I'm working for you?
Yeah, and that would have been not a good thing.
But it didn't work out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He wouldn't like that way that story played out. But you realize you have to do what you have to do to maintain the betterment of the collective. You know, that's the responsibility you have, is the ecosystem, the culture, the environment in which everyone works. And at that point, unfortunately, it was a toxic environment that he was creating. But with that being said, he was instrumental in my growth as a counselor, and then Dana was. And so then I eventually became a campus president, and then I hired Dana. Well, she kind of was given to me, and then I took her full time, because she was a regional and a DOA.
I didn't know that.
Because I fired my DOA, and they said, hey, let Dana just step in.
And Dana came in.
And then Dana and I were like partners forever since.
Yeah, you guys were passengers together for a long time.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And now you're here.
And now I'm here. So that's the story. So I was pretty reluctant to start. And then I had to see the vision of what we're really doing and how beautiful it really is and how we're really transforming people's lives. And then you needed a good woman to reframe it for you. So that's
there's three pivotal moments, and I think Andrea was that final, that almost the third pivotal moment for you.
Yeah, she pushed me off the cliff.
It is. That? I mean, you were. Yeah, she put. Yeah, all she threw you in the deep end, brother.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like pretty normal. Not gonna lie.
I like how you're looking in the camera on that one too.
Yo, like if she watches this, like no,
she will watch it, for you. And she probably will critique it too. Oh, so I hope she does.
Oh, she's an attorney. That's what she does.
That is. She's and she practices land use. Is that
land
right?
Use and zoning.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So she has a great joke. She'll like work with the family, but not for the family.
Really?
And that's the way to go.
Because I thought eventually she may come over here.
No, she's the smart one in the family.
She's the smart one?
Do that, yeah.
So you can't use the same logic on her?
I would work for her in a second, and I would hire her in a second, but she has other ambitions.
I see that.
Yeah, and she ran for office too. Like she's got the bug.
That was just last year, right? Or was it last year? It was this year. It was this year. And she's got when you get the bug, you got the bug. Especially when you've got a vision and a mission.
100%.
Can we talk about your mom for a second?
Let's talk about mom.
Let's talk about your mom. What's your mom doing right now?
Mom is running for U.S. Congress.
Is that amazing?
It is amazing.
And she's positioned really well for this race.
So. Yeah. I mean, look, and not to alienate the audience, and I will tell you, like, politics is crazy. And what I would say, this is my disclaimer about politics. If you vote for one party 100% either way, you're the crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you're a Republican and you only vote for Republicans and you only vote on Republican issues for Republicans, then you are fanatical. If you're a Democrat that only votes for Democrats and only votes on Democratic issues or liberal issues, then you are a zealot. So it's the same. So most people, I do believe, are in the middle, and they are picking from lesser of two evils because we're in this dichotomy of either Republican or Democrats. Driven. So just, that's the context in which I believe, and I think you judge people on who they are as humans and their heart and their minds and their soul, and not the party they wear on their sleeve. But with that being said, Mom had an opportunity with gerrymandering. We had the gerrymandering situation in Florida, created a new district where she could run from her home seat, and there was no incumbent. So it's a really good opportunity for her. Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, it's CD 22, Congressional District 22, covers Palm Beach. I was surprised how big it was.
Huge.
It went in Collier County. It actually extended over almost to the Naples area, which is kind of interesting.
They brought their GIS, map people, cartographers out, and how do we make this work? And because it's a crazy looking district.
But she's positioned really well, and I think the time is right. And I'm really excited for her. I'm really excited for her.
I'm super partial.
Primary's coming in August, so she's got a short time to get out of the primary.
That's
and
right.
then I think she's going to be okay in
some ways. That's better because I wouldn't wish running or being in politics on my worst enemy. So the faster she gets in and out.
How's Doc going to handle all this? Is he gonna?
Doc is good. I mean, he's a supportive husband.
Absolutely,
so he'll be supportive as long as he doesn't go to too many events with rubber chicken. I think he'll be okay.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because he hates the events.
He says it all the time.
Yeah, for Doc, for my father, he's a simple man. He works really hard every day, all the time, and then he wants to go home, watch Blacklist, and be with his dogs.
He's a Blacklist guy.
Loves it.
I want to go back to your dad real quick and on straight ticket.
Okay.
So I believe that too. In fact, there's some states that have straight ticket ballots where you can just punch one and you just, if they're Republican, it's all of them. If it's Democrat. And I tried to fight, I think you knew this, I ran a long time ago, and I ran opposed to the straight ticket because I just couldn't stand it.
Because you're smart.
But I couldn't get in because I couldn't get support from the party because they want people that are going to support the party line.
Right. Well, if you're in a uniparty state, it's better to have that for the party.
For sure.
But for the voter, they're disenfranchised.
No, and to your Dad's credit, he's so focused on what makes our communities better, our workforce better.
Agreed.
And that's what Keiser's done.
Yeah.
And it's not like he has, like the horses with the their
blinders.
focus.
Yeah.
It's not like he has blinders on, but he's committed to that vision and that focus. And I think that served him very well on where they're at today. I mean, from your grandma to now.
Well, look, I mean, that was the better mousetrap, right?
Yeah.
The traditional universities are important. They serve an incredible purpose, especially the R1s, but they're not necessarily responsive to the communities in which they operate. They are always striving to be the most prestigious. In fact, look at admissions. Like, this is one of my big gripes about state universities.
Sure.
We pay to go to University of Florida every year, and we never will attend. And in fact, they will do everything they can in their power to ensure that we will not attend by raising the SAT bar, raising the application experience, so they can only get the most prestigious, richest, most academically inclined individuals. But that's not the basic Floridian. They're supposed to be serving the community.
Correct.
And that was the niche we filled. We saw that the state universities and the community colleges were not actually trying. They weren't even trying. That's the reality, to serve the community. So we stepped into that void. And that's why our entire program portfolio is based on what works in that local community from a workforce
It's
perspective.
a huge middle void. I always tell people just, especially with enrollment or even how we try to position ourselves, but we're level 6 SACs. So we're this peer group, but we've got career college roots. So we're this peer group, and we're like a unicorn right in the middle that I think is the perfect positioning for anybody right now in education, period.
Well, and honestly, as an educator at heart, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
It's the concept of, you don't want to only teach A students and then say, I'm the best teacher ever, because they're going to be speaking Latin even if you don't teach them that, right?
Exactly.
You want to take the B and the C students and help them improve. And then maybe they'll never be the A+ students in that subject area. There are others that they will be, but you're helping them expand their boundaries, increase their critical thinking, and become better students. And that's the hallmark of a great teacher. But it's the same with universities. I think that the state universities and the community colleges are obsessed with being exclusive, obsessed with being, and it's really a height of pretension.
They want to open the door for you. They don't want it to have it swing.
Absolutely.
If you get what I mean.
And they really only want to open the door to the people who are going to donate to the library and put their name on it.
100%.
And it doesn't matter where you come
Pay to
from
play.
across the country, across the world. We'll take the internationals. We'll take the people from different states. We'll make it impossible to go to University of North Carolina if you actually live in the Tar Heel state.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense. Like, that's not what their mission
And they're
was.
disenfranchising generational people that graduated from the school. You're
Absolutely.
seeing that now. They're not having grandma went here, dad went here, I'm going to go here. They're losing that now.
And it's a detriment to the communities that they are
100%.
actually in, because the brain drain is happening where they're educating New Yorkers and people from China and people from Europe, but they're not educating the people who live
Our backyard.
in your backyard, right? So then the best and the brightest, they don't stay there. They go back to where they're from.
Exactly.
Or they go to the biggest cities and then they employ their trade. But then the local communities, especially a lot of the traditionals, are in rural
It's
communities.
displaced.
Exactly.
I get it.
So they're not supported. Yeah.
So we got 15 minutes left
Let's
here,
do it.
10 minutes, and you said New York, so I cannot leave this conversation with talking a little Knicks
Okay,
and the
let's do it.
championship. And I'm going to tie this back
do it.
into what we do because of what Brunson said. I don't know if you saw this afterwards, who I believe is a Hall of Famer right now. He's solidified himself. But I loved
man.
how he said, and it's something to learn for everybody, is he talked about being in the outdoor court when he was young, doing those hours in the gym, doing all this stuff to get where he's at today, which was raising that trophy.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, and we talk about this all the time, even in our world, in enrollment or anything like that, you've got to put in the time. You can't look at the end result. You got to look at the activity or the stuff that gets you to that result. And I think there's a lesson in that from Brunson. And it's a good story
100%.
from the coach. Fired 4 times.
Yeah.
Right? And then he finds
in?
the right team, the right chemistry, which an employer is too for you. Sometimes you don't succeed at one employer, but then you go to another employer, the chemistry's right? That avenue's right, and then you excel. And I think there's a lot of things to learn, not only from athletics, and I am a Knicks fan, and I'm happy for this win, but there's also some relevance to the story of this historic year.
You're 100% right. And I am absolutely not a Knicks fan.
I know you're Heat, right?
I'm a Heat fan, and I grew up watching Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston and John
Spinners.
Starks. Yeah. Them,
You remember?
I don't even want to refer to them by name because that's so frustrating. Then my brother-in-law walks in my house with a Knicks jersey with like Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, That's cool, but I hate it. Like, I hate it. So I will say this though, like as a Heat fan, I didn't think I could like a Knicks team. I like this Knicks team for the reason that you said. Typically, you see the teams that win the NBA championship, especially in basketball, where there's only 5 people on the court at any time. It's going to be loaded with stars.
Yes.
You have a true mega superstar in Brunson, and no one thought he was when he was on the Mavericks.
Villanova. I mean, he played some good years at some places, but no one undersized, all that stuff.
Exactly. No one was like, he's Giannis, he's Doncic, he's whatever, right? Like no one was talking about that until the last 2 years. And even now it's like a whole different conversation. But then, the second best player is probably Cat, but he came from college as a blue chipper, but people gave up on him. So really, they're better as a team. Their team defense is amazing.
Yep.
They play together. Hart and Anunoby and Shamet. All these guys play a role. But like to your point about grit and discipline, that's something that's applicable to every story and every industry. That's that Mamba mentality that Kobe was all about. We watched them be successful on Saturday nights in Madison Square Garden, but we don't see the sweat equity they put behind the scenes to be prepared for that moment, to hit that one shot that defines their career. And they all say it. Messi says it. Brunson says it. Brady says it. And yet we think we can just show up and be the boss. Like that's not how it works. And Malcolm Gladwell, from an academic perspective, said it himself, 10,000 hours.
It's 10,000 hours.
You got to put in the time. You got to put in the sweat equity to be great at anything.
Understand your art. And we have that a lot of times, especially like my kids. They see what I have and they forget where I was when they were 9 or 8. They don't understand that. Or you could easily see what Keiser is today, right? Global, 100,000 plus graduates, anytime 25,000 or whatever students walk in our halls. You don't see what your dad and mom had to do when they had one student.
Oh, that's 100% right. And there are many times in my life I took it for granted, was like a spoiled brat about it. Honestly, I gave my parents all the credit in the world, and that's what I may be doing with my 3 daughters, is they brought me on trips and showed me poor parts of different countries. Like I'm going to take Isabelina, my eldest, probably next year to Nicaragua, bring a suitcase of toys and give it all away. But we're going to go to the poor part of town, and she's going to open that suitcase.
So you learned that from your dad. I'm curious on this. Did he learn that from your grandma, or where did? Because that's an attribute not people instill.
I think he came by it naturally because because he didn't have anything.
He was a backpacker, wasn't he? When he was young, didn't he go backpacking or something? He did the whole.
He did hitchhiking.
Yeah.
So no one probably knows this, but my father, the Chancellor of Keiser University, was a Latin American history major.
Yeah.
His aspiration was to be a university professor, have a tweed
patch
jacket
on patch on the elbows.
I'm like, dude, did you want the pipe? He didn't want the pipe. I would take the pipe, but that's a whole different thing. But then he would teach Latin American history. That was his major in undergrad. When he went to Tulane, was Latin American history. So he went to South America, hitchhiked with his backpack and his afro. Solo. Got stood up in Colombia for his watch with a knife.
Oh, I didn't know that
The whole thing. Oh,
we got to talk to him about that on here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many stories. And one of the things I want to do, just like segue, we can cut this out, but we should do stories of campus presidents.
Yes, for sure.
Because there's so many campus stories that no one believes.
We want to bring them on and find out what they are. Absolutely. We're not going to cut that out.
So back to Dad. Okay. So my father, he goes backpacking in South America, has his live experience, sold cars actually, worked as a psych ward, cleaning bedpans.
You're kidding me.
100%. He was the guy, orderly, that would hold down the psychiatric patients and pin them to the ground.
Really?
That was his job. Yeah.
He has
a story with his brother, my uncle, where some woman completely naked walks into this, or is in the psych ward, like strips down and like is going crazy, breaking things violent. He tackles her and pins her down, and then they tie her up and they sedate her.
You're kidding me.
That was his job.
So we got to get him on here.
He would love to.
Just for our viewers, I want to talk to him. I really think he's got a story, especially Keiser University and where we've come from Keiser College to now as Keiser University, the whole global thing. I think we got a story to tell, a documentary type.
Well, and back to your point, that humility.
Yeah.
I mean, we started as the Keiser School. One student, 1,800 square feet. My father and my grandmother, my grandmother taking the alimony money from the divorce where my grandfather left her because he was not someone who was faithful.
Yeah.
She didn't, at the time, there were really women rights in terms of a divorce. And he took his life savings, my father, and put it together. And what they could muster was an 1,800 square foot building in Oakland Park Boulevard. And that's how they started. So they didn't have. That was them bankrupting themselves to pursue an ambition. So he worked from nothing. Like he was the A&E or the Arthur and Evelyn janitorial crew cleaning toilets.
Everything.
So I think for him, humility was, I struggled for years. He told me he didn't take home a paycheck until 89.
And he values the dollar because of that too.
Right. Oh, well, you know that.
Well, I know that.
Yeah. Anyone who works at the university knows he values the dollar.
I want to make sure he knows I know that.
Oh, we're programmed. Like, you got to have a really good value proposition to buy something here. But 77 to 89, he doesn't take a paycheck because it goes right back into the business.
Right back into the business.
Because he couldn't afford to do that.
Which is selfless.
Well, also it's his life savings and it's all he had. So I think for him, his father was successful. He was a psychiatrist, but when he was cutting his teeth, when he was an adult, he didn't have means. So he was humble because he knew no other life.
He was scratching it together.
Right, exactly. And he flew all over the country, the thousands of like literally over 1,000 accreditation visits when he was hustling and he was grinding.
We need to share that more. And I suspect now in 2026, we stick to our touch points. We stick to we're in the human business and we're not willing to stray away from that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because of the culture he built and it's so ingrained and intertwined in what we do today.
100%. And it probably is a good segue into the topic we were thinking about, we're going to talk about, which you can tell we're pretty loose with agenda. It's what we want. Is AI.
This is a typical, by the way, hour when you come to my office.
100%.
Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, well, that work from home sometimes is more productive, guys. I'll just tell you that right now. But we have fun. And that's the most important thing.
But AI, I think that should be we are running a little bit out of time. So what do you think about, I do want to dedicate to AI because what I'd like to do on our next show.
Okay.
We'll push this out. We'll record in 2 weeks, but I think I really want to dive into 4 months ago back.
Yeah.
And where your head was at and take us through going to Stanford, working late at night, all the things that you're building to where we're at today.
Happy to do it.
Especially as Keiser and what you feel like we're going to. And that probably will be a good segue into Mitch discussions, which will be after that.
Okay, we'll do that.
And also Mitch is a backpacker too.
Oh, so
he did. He toured around, so we got to ask him that. Okay. And I got a picture of Mitch from way back that's shows.
Oh,
he was back.
Yeah, maybe we'll flash in front of the camera.
And we're going to show inside of this, guys. Again, this is not a Keiser podcast, but we work for Keiser. That's you spend 2/3 of your life at work, so you got to love it, and we love it.
We do.
He loves it for sure. I love it definitely, and hope you can feel that from me. But we're going to put a picture in the roll here of our first location that we did. Remember, Adriana actually enhanced it with AI.
Correct.
So it's really cool. So we'll actually flash that in here. All right. Anything else before we cut out of here?
I guess a good teaser for the AI, right? So you said this human-centric approach to education. Well, that is exactly how we're taking the AI era and the AI revolution. We're never going to cut out the human in the loop, always and forever.
And we got to pay attention to that. And that'll be a good show. So please take it in. That'll be our second show. We'll record in 2 weeks. We'll drop it the week after. Again, anything else before we leave?
I'm just going to say, go USA, go Estados Unidos. It's FIFA World Cup. So if you're a soccer lover like me.
You got to teach me soccer, man.
I'm happy to. I love it. Like it replaced, honestly, and you're not going to like this comment because I know you like it. It replaced baseball for me.
So Georgia lost last night, College World Series. Shout out to, they're playing Texas tonight.
Okay.
And hopefully they blow them away. I'm trying to, man. I'm trying. And living here.
Yeah.
Because hopefully Argentina will play July 3rd, and I'm hoping to go to that game.
Okay.
That's the game I want to go to.
I think I'm actually going to be at that game.
Of course you are.
Yeah, of course I am. But like the ticket
Don't forget your little brother.
July 3rd. Hey man, if I could hook you up 100% undoubtedly.
Oh, and by the way, we're going to record. I haven't really talked to you much about this, but we're going to record I want to record at football games.
Let's do it.
I want to do some stuff together. I want to record. We're going, Robert and I are headed to another site that we're opening. We're going to do a ribbon cutting in El Salvador. We're going to do a show from out there.
Content there?
Yeah, I've got the equipment. We're going to do a show out there. And I want to do more of this so they get to know everything. And hopefully you guys can send us what you want to know. This needs to be a community podcast and not just schlepping what we think to support our ego.
And maybe for the
audience. I do have a big
audience.
ego, so there's that.
Hey, well, we share that. So if maybe for the audience, if you have like a really good topic area or a speaker you want us to talk to and interview, like we will take your questions.
Yeah, or if you want to be interviewed, send it to us.
There you go, even better.
I've already been reached out by a couple people. Greg, anyways, there's a couple people out there that want to be interviewed. They've run successful businesses. You know what, Greg? I'm trying to think how to say your last name because I screw it up all the time. But Fred from Greg Advertising,
Another
he wants to be
name.
here. No, Fred. Fred France. Is it Fred?
Fred France.
Sorry,
He's
Fred.
like,
I love you.
By the way, we actually know real people. He's not just saying like random first names.
We won't bring Dana on. We won't do that.
Definitely not. 100%
Rustem,
no.
shout out to you. You want to be on
Rustem's
too.
gotta be on.
Very smart guy. And we want to bring some other people from other verticals too.
Yeah.
Some other thought leaders and things like that and talk about it.
Sure,
Right, we got to bring Joel on to talk about the documentary. I'm going to give a shout out to the documentary, Aim Worthy. We'll get Joel on and have him discuss that and kind of what we went through on the documentary. So we're going to do some good stuff, brother.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Again, he's not a co-host. He is a host. I do have a little bit of ego and I stole the name. So we're going to continue with Chat with Charlie. But I'm so glad to be with you again. I'm so glad to be in this beautiful studio that we have. That we can do this at. So we'll be seeing you when we see you. But please reach out to us. And again, Robert, this is going to be really, really fun.
Let's do it, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Take it easy.